Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. I am making this recording to help people who are young, old, in India or outside India to think about um, uh, securing and enjoying their retirement. So, what I want to do is share uh, a very short presentation on this, give you an overview of the uh, of the sessions that will follow this. So there will be 6 sessions that follow this particular introduction, and each session will be about 1.5 hours. So let me get on and explain what this is all about. So, so the first question that I want to answer is that are these sessions worth your time, right? So first, a little bit about my background. So I've had a pretty good track record, which helped me retire at 46. So I've been retired for about 20 years. And gradually, I developed these templates for myself. And then I have tested these with customers who've sort of been part of the beta advisory service. Uh, and so these templates are things that have been used, and I practice what I preach here. Having said that, I think it's important to understand that these templates will not work for everybody, and you can't just take these templates and use them as is. You will need to adapt them to your use. But going through these templates and going through these sessions, you will probably get a very good understanding of what it takes to get started on this, and how by being very simple, you can actually achieve your goals, which could be something like this, that you could try to get adequate returns with simplicity. And here I remember a person, who was about 80 and in good health, playing golf, and I met him, and he told me that he only had fixed deposits with banks. So I was telling him, hey, you could do much better in terms of getting returns. But he made this comment that, for him, he understood fixed deposits. They were giving him adequate returns, and he didn't want anything more. So he didn't want to complicate his life. So, so this question of what is adequate for you and what is simple is something that one should think about. And now it's very possible for you to become your own advisor. Now, even if you don't want to be your own advisor, like many people don't want to be their own doctor, uh, it still will help you be better informed so that you can talk much more intelligently with your advisor and not be a victim of bad selling. So you can be very informed. So hopefully these templates will help you, and your knowledge of financial planning will help you achieve that goal of either being your own advisor and paying no advisory fee, which over a lifetime can be quite substantial, or even if you use an advisor, make sure that you pick the right one and that you are more informed. Now, key thing that I've found is that especially when people retire, or even when they are working and they're very young, there is a lot of anxiety about whether I will be able to save enough to enjoy a good retirement. Am I doing as well as other people? There's a whole plethora of things, offerings that are out there. Am I using the best ones or not? So, another aim could be to remove this financial anxiety. And finally, if you are retired, when you're retired, you want to be able to enjoy your hard-earned money, because I've seen quite a few people that I've advised who don't understand that they can spend a lot more and still have an adequate corpus, when they pass away. So that is another important goal that you could think about. Okay. Now, just very quickly going into the templates that you can adapt, and I'll just show you what the templates are. And there are 8 templates. And to request these templates, you can send an email with your name to request a link to the templates. So once you get these are Google Sheets. Please do not edit the templates. Just copy and make your own sheet or download them because these templates will be used by a variety of people. So with that, let me just give you a very quick overview of what the templates are. Okay, so let me just go there. Okay, so you should be able to see my screen here. So here are the 8 templates. So there is a template for asset allocation, which is one of the biggest problems that most people have, that they don't know how much to put in safe assets and risky assets. So this template will cover that. Then making a balance sheet. So just as a company makes a balance sheet, you can make your own balance sheet of what you owe and what you own. And this is a very interesting exercise that we do. Now, on each of these templates, we would be spending about 1.5 hours. And you could ask, why so long on a template? But as you get into the template, with examples and how you can use them and how you can use them to take meaningful actions and maybe make some behavioral changes in how you approach things, is why these sessions could be quite long. And I hope those sessions will be interactive. So I purposely kept the time of these sessions from 7 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. India time, so that people from around the globe, I mean, it's not a terrible time for them, as well as people from India who want to get into this exercise and participate in a live session. The only advantage of being in the live session is you can ask questions, right, live. Otherwise, you can always listen to the recording. So the other template is the spend calculator. So we'll just take a very quick peek at this. So as you can see, this has a few colors. The green ones are where you got to make an input. The red ones are calculated. And then there is a guess number that you put in. So in this particular case, this was done for a person who was quite wealthy, who had 40 crores in mutual funds and wanted that when they pass away, to have 40 crores still but in money that was 22 years later. So the question that they had was, how much can they spend? And they were quite shocked to learn that they could spend 3 crores or 3.13 crores and still have enough left. So that helped them loosen their belt quite a bit, right? So the whole idea is simplicity without getting too complicated, and to actually have some meaningful action that results from using a template. So similarly, there is how much should you save to build that corpus that you want at the end of the retirement, budgeting exercise, something called a wealth index, something to track your documents with expiry dates and build a list of tasks, and then some resources. There are plenty of resources there, so I picked a few, and you can. So the sessions will essentially be on asset allocation separately, balance sheet separately, spend calculator separately, save calculator separately, budget separately, and the last 3 will be combined into one session. So those will be the 6 sessions. Okay. So coming back to the presentation. Okay, so we were. Okay, so once you completed this whole thing, you will come into this whole thing of saying that, look, this is my as is state. And you would be able to define what you think your should be state should be, right? And then it's going to be a question of migration. And the migration is not simple because you may have assets which are very illiquid. You may be in mutual funds or stocks which haven't done very well. You may have to get out of them and things like that. So there are things like fees, performance, taxes, exit loads. You may be in insurance policies, which are not that good. But if you want to get out of them, then you have to look at surrender values, whether you can make the thing paid up or not. And a lot of us, especially if we have been using financial products for a while, tend to fly blind. We really don't know what this is, but there are now many tools available to help you with uh, getting all this and actually planning your migration. And then the question becomes that how do you simplify, right? Because to a person like me who has been in finance and stuff like that, this is easy. I mean, it's like for a doctor, understanding healthcare is easy. But if you are not in finance or you're not comfortable with finance, then how do you simplify? So one is you can do it yourself because this is not very, very complicated, right? Uh, uh, Financial advisors tend to make it like it's very complicated because then they can justify high fees. But it is possible to do this on your own. However, if you can't, you can use fee-only advisors and maybe use them for a limited time. Like when you learn to drive a car, initially it's daunting to drive a car, but later on it becomes very easy. And whenever you choose an advisor, you should choose an advisor who is customer centric, that is, cares for you, and you pay them rather than commission centric. Like very few people will go to a doctor if the doctor tells them that, hey, don't worry, I'll give you free consultation. You don't have to pay me a dime. But, I actually get commission from all the people that I send you to get tests from. And, so you don't need to pay me, right? So I at least would be very reluctant to go to a doctor like that because, that person would send me for unnecessary tests. I'd have to pay a lot of commission. So there's something similar in the financial services that if you are paying your advisor, they will tend to work for you if they are a good advisor. But if someone else is paying them, then obviously they will work for them or work to maximize the amount that they can earn. Okay. So I talked about the future sessions, which will discuss each template in detail. There will be 6 sessions, and they will be primarily question and answer because I'm not going to drone on for 90 minutes. So it's like giving you the template, explaining the template with a few examples, and then interacting with you and focusing more on the psychology of the template and not the math of the template, because the math of the template is easy. Right. But what is it that you can learn from the template? What is it that you can do with the template? That is the more important part, right? And these sessions will be recorded and they are free because this is my way of giving back something which was useful for me to the world. Now, the last thing that I'm going to end this session with is that all this theory is good. You can do all the planning that you like. But if you do not act, then it's all going to be useless. Therefore, I've put this last thing saying act, act, act. And with that, thank you for this session. I see that Abhishek has joined us. So if he has a few questions, I'll take those. And otherwise, I'm going to stop the recording and then I'll share the link with people and hopefully see a lot of you at the sessions. And even if I don't see a lot of you, we will the recordings may be very useful for you. So to request, the templates, please send an email. My email is mentioned here. as well as on the first slide. Thank you very much. So, Abhishek, yeah, any questions that you had on this overview?
First of all, very good morning, Sanjay. As always, it's a pleasure to listen to you, put structure to very, very complicated things and make it simple. So I'm really looking forward to exploring all the templates, customizing it to my need, and planning ahead.
Yeah.
Just a simple question. In fact, I have two questions which are related.
Yeah.
I have been reading that it is better to spread your, as you invest, spread it over time so that you get the benefit of, having invested at different points in time at different values. Is that better? Or if you have a big corpus, is it better to just put it all in at once into, say, a mutual fund portfolio?
Sure, that's a great question. So the thing is that, if you spread it out, let's say you're investing in mutual funds, okay, and stock mutual funds, because in debt mutual funds, it really doesn't matter, right? I mean, you might as well put it in as quickly as you can because you'll start earning the return. But in stocks, because they can go up and down, timing could matter. Now, if you look at it, if you're investing for the long run, right, then it really doesn't matter, the starting point, because these become like small blips in the chart. Having said that, if it's a very large amount, that you're investing, then, trying to time the initial entry might make a little sense, but it's really difficult. Okay, so if you spread it out, then in a market which is rising, you're going to lose out, right? If it is neutral, it's going to not matter. And if it is falling, then you're going to gain, right? So you essentially have to make a call on, do you think that, this market right now is substantially overvalued? In which case, you might want to spread it out. But if the answer to that question is no, then don't bother. Just finish it, right? Because you have better things to do in life than try to super optimize when you're getting into the market, right? You might as well use your mental energy and your bandwidth and so on and so forth in trying to make more money than rather than timing the market, right? Yeah. So what was the second question?
So the second question was around, again, similar SIP versus, making lump sum on a regular basis, as in when I say get a bonus or something like that. So I think your answer would go in similar direction, I'm guessing.
No, so SIPs are very useful because quite a few people, they get a salary on a monthly basis, right? And then their savings are on a monthly basis, right? So the SIP builds a certain amount of discipline, saying, okay, this much money I'm going to take out. And then you take that out and then you manage your spending with whatever is left, right? Now, the bonus thing, if you get like a large amount of fresh money or a bonus, then, they're having to put that as a systematic investment may not be such a great idea, right? And also related to SIPs, there's this question of systematic withdrawal, right? Like, so some people feel that when they retire, they want to replace that salary with systematic withdrawal. But that's something we'll cover in the templates discussion and many other things, because there are some myths which are there, like, which at least I think are not like very great things to do, and traps that people fall into, especially mental traps. Right. So one is that, this whole business of diversification, right? Like, I need to be in every little thing, like, why not a little bit in China? Why not a little bit in Japan? Why a little bit here? Why not a little bit there? So it's pretty complicated. And things like mutual funds are already very diverse, but I've seen portfolios where people have, over 100 mutual funds. It's like insane, right? So, if you are in a particular geography like India, which is doing well, then maybe you don't need to invest in in the US or some other geography. If you're in the US, which is again a very large market, maybe you want to diversify a little bit internationally or not. But again, we'll cover this in some of the ways of thinking about asset allocation, which is going to be the first session and probably the most important session about how do you allocate your assets, right? Both your current assets and any future assets that you might get. And the surprising answer is that once you have an asset allocation structure, then it doesn't matter. You migrate to that with your current assets and your future money you put into that, and then you do a technique which is called rebalancing. Okay. So anything else, Abhishek, or should we?
No, that's it for today, Sanjay. I look
Okay,
forward
great.
to
So thanks
learn.
for showing up. You're always a great supporter in this thing. And look, so the next session will be next Saturday, again at 7 to 8:30. So that's going to be a long session, like 90 minutes, and it's going to be on asset allocation. So if that's convenient, I hope to see you there. Otherwise, you can always look at the recording.
Perfect. I'll be there for that, Sanjay. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Bye.
Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.
Yeah.